Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking in. It means a lot that you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today we're going to do some bold predictions. I feel like it's time for some bold predictions. You guys have requested this video for 42 as we get closer to the season. I feel like it's time to start talking about the season in realistic terms, what we actually think is going to happen. Obviously, it's been filmed for 9 months, and we know that things are going to be happening and that we have a whole new story and a whole new cast, but we don't know specifically what's going to happen. And so I'm going to predict 5 things that I feel like are bold to predict that is going to happen in 42. These bold predictions can be about personality, they can be about gameplay, they can be small, big, about Jeff, about production, anything. Stay tuned to the end to figure out what Thursday's video is going to be. I'm not uploading tomorrow, so I'll upload on Thursday the next time that I upload, but stay tuned to the end to figure out what the next video that I'm going to be posting is going to be about. Join the Discord server. We have tons of fun there. We talk Survivor, we talk Big Brother, we talk Amazing Race, we talk Australian Survivor. We talk to each other, we talk to me. There's a lot of great stuff going on there, so go check that out. Top link in the description. And 94% of you guys who watch these videos are not subscribed. Let's change that. It's easy and it's free. And if that's it, let's get into the video. So my first bold prediction is that the cast will be better personality-wise than 41 cast, but they will not be better game-wise. So as I was looking at this cast, going through for my cast assessment videos, I found a lot of people looking not too savvy at the game. Let's just put it that way. A lot of times you can kind of judge somebody right off the bat, and usually you're right about them just not being good at the game, them not looking like a quote-unquote super fan. And so usually when I see people like that, I assume that their personality must be awesome, because that's something that you can't really see through a screen, whereas you can kind of see like that nerdy feel, that nerdy super fan feel through a screen, whereas you can't see like a Debbie personality or a Philip or Coach personality through a screen usually. And so I looked at this cast and I was pretty confused with like a lot of choices on the cast. And so I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that a lot of the casts on this cast were for personality instead of gameplay. Unlike a season like, for example, 41, that was very, very game body with a mild amount of personality. I mean, your most like personality person is probably Sydney, which is saying something, because like Sydney's not like some sort of like crazy personality. So obviously with 41 being such a heavy gamebot season, this season may now shift to more personality based casting choices, which I think to a certain extent is better. I think it's definitely an argument, because on one hand, you want your cast to be strategically capable of playing a very fluid game. You don't want a cast that just doesn't flip at all, or God forbid, a prolonging. But at the same time, you also want your cast to have some personality, right? You don't want to just have a bunch of game bots who don't give good confessionals. And really, confessionals are everything, because confessionals are really how the show is told, right? There's no narrator. The players narrate the game themselves. So really, I'm not as concerned with big personalities or Coach type of personalities, because those are so rare to come by. Obviously, it takes a lot of work to find those people, especially if you recruit them instead of them applying. I'm more concerned about casting people who are good in confessional. If somebody can explain what's going on in the game, even if they're a game bot, at least they can explain what's going on and at least get us to be on their side or against them. I enjoy people who can tell a story, because and similar to Jeff Probst, who also shares this opinion about storytellers, it makes it a lot easier to get in the game and feel like you're also a player with them. I think that this cast will be overall less woke. Maybe. I don't know. It's very iffy. Just eyeballing the cast, it seems like there's maybe the same amount of woke people, but they may be more chill about it, right? And I do think that unlike 41, you do have some very clear people who are against wokeness, which I like, right? Whereas in 41, I can't think of one person other than maybe Abraham, who is like probably like actively against the wokeness, which even then I've seen some Instagram posts from Abraham that say otherwise. Whereas in like on this cast, I feel like a person like Mike Turner is not like a wokester at all, which I like a lot. Obviously, we're looking for a cast that isn't 100% woke, because it's hilarious because CBS tries to push this narrative of we want different experiences. We want diversity in all facets, in race, in gender, and in thought. But the last one is one probably the most important type of diversity, and yet it's the scarcest one on these casts for 39 and for 41, where everybody on the cast lean left politically. You have an entire cast that agrees with each other. How is that a diverse cast, as far as politics and as far as their thought and values in life? So getting back to my second one, the reason why I feel like this cast will be less woke is, one, obviously, because I feel like 41 was more diverse as far as race, and this one is more diverse as far as, let's just call it, there's more of your blue-haired girls on Twitter on this cast, but there is less of your Shans and, people who are going to be, super, race alliancing it up, if that's even a verb. But yeah, I feel like there's going to be less race as far as wokeism, if that's even a word, and there'll be more like women's wokeism or they them's wokeism. I don't know. To me, it's like the fact that I have to talk about this, like I didn't sign up for this, but because it's on the show, I now have to speak on this, which sucks, but that's just how it is. And so that's my second bold prediction. My third bold prediction is that we will get an S tier player / character. My examples for this would be like a Tony or a Russell or even like a Rick Devens, or I mean, I guess you could consider Shan an S tier character, but like again, Shan's kind of bordering on that A to S. Like if Shan stays farther and gets to even like the finale, I feel like she counts as an S tier. Someone who takes up a lot of screen time, is a great character, is polarizing, like people like that. Like you're once in every 5 seasons type of character, right? No one from the past 5 seasons before Rick Devens had been as captivating for viewers as Rick Devens was. And I feel like, from 39 to 43, Shan will probably be one of the biggest characters. So that really puts her in that S tier category. And I feel like this season will have an S tier character / player, but also it needs one, because I think overall this cast is weaker, both strategically and just overall. Although I do think that it's stronger personality wise, I think that this season is going to need like a big Tony-esh type of character to really carry this season as far as casting goes. Because when looking at the cast, I do think that there are very, very weak spots and some possible duds in the cast, which means that the top part of it needs to be a very top heavy cast, because I feel like you're going to have at least like 5 meh, like all the way to just straight up duds on this season. And so I feel like that's super important, is that someone steps up and really does become this gigantic character on this season, such as Dominic from Ghost Island, like a big figure on this season. I feel like we're gonna get that, or at least someone is going to be tried to be edited like that. And to be clear, it can be an S tier character or an S tier player. Someone like Dominic is, I think, more of an S tier player, but he's also a pretty decent character. Whereas someone like Tony is both. He's an S tier character and an S tier player. Someone like Rick Devens, S tier character, S tier player, or S tier character and then sort of a decent player, but also had to kind of idle his way to the end. A person like Philip obviously is an S tier character and not, an S tier player. So really, they don't really need to be both, although it's preferable if they're both, because people like Russell, for an example, or Tony, or even Fairplay, in their respective seasons were all S tier players and S tier characters, and so someone's going to need to step up, and I do think that someone will step up. And at number 4, I feel like we're going to get more live tribals than we did in season 41. I feel like, because again, they don't have to show all of them, but I feel like I know there was complaints about it, but aside from episode 1, 7, and I believe they had one in episode 8. So one, like the first episode, I thought, and again, I actually liked the live tribals this season. Maybe that's because they were more scarce, and so they felt more special than in a season like 40, where there was at least 4 or 5 live tribals in the entire season, especially in the post-merge. But we basically had in 41, we have the first episode where JD freaks out and gets up and, talks to Shan, and then Sarah goes, off of that live tribal. And then in episode 7, in the real merge episode, we have the Xander fake idol and then ensuing live tribal. And then in the episode after, I believe Heather causes a live tribal where she kind of just almost like gets herself voted out. But aside from that, we only got 3 live tribals and 2 really like real live tribals. I mean, like the Heather one was like kind of weird, but I wouldn't really consider that like a full-fledged live one. Whereas in the first episode and second episodes were full-fledged like live tribals that really impacted the vote. And I feel like we're going to get more than just 2 or 3 of those. We're probably going to get around maybe 4 or 5. And I think it could be for the better or it could be for the worse. If it's edited like in season 40 where we're confused and we don't understand why the person went home, then no. But if it's edited like it was in 41, where we understood what the effect was in the first live tribal for the first episode of 41, we understood that JD got up, he connected with a person who is in power in Shan and also his number one ally at the time, and made sure that that the target shifted off him and went on to Sarah. In the 7th episode, we it was very clear that it was a group of 4 with the Yaseis plus Sarah and then everybody else, and it became very clear that the everybody else section was going to split their vote between that 4, and it was very clear what was happening. Whereas in 40, there were some episodes where even like RHAP and the specialist just had no idea what to do with the vote because we were so confused why this person put a stray vote here. Especially the Tyson boot in Winners at War was especially complicated with the family visit happening in that same episode. So I would say overall that live tribals will increase and will become more often, maybe 4 or 5 or maybe even 6. Who knows? And the final one, I think that we're going to get another female winner. I think as we go into this new era, especially after all of this time off and that year where a lot of social justice happened, or at least a lot of movements got a lot of power. I think that in these next 5 seasons, we may get one male winner. I think that female winners will be on the rise because while males may vote impartially on the jury, I think females will be biased and vote for mainly females, unless it's like an Angelina type of thing where even Allison and Cara and Gabby, who want to vote for women, they're not voting for Angelina because it's Angelina. But like a person like Erica, who benefited from being a woman at the end, I feel like that's going to be more common, and you may see someone win the game purely off of their gender. And I think you might see also people win the game based off being in the same race or even like the same religion, or I don't know about religion, but race or ethnicity or country or culture, which I think overall is bad for the game. I think the game should never be about what you come in with. It should always be about what you put into the game, and then you get what you put in. I think to an extent, I think it's very unfair that a person can come in and be a certain color or from a certain country, and that helps them, or have certain parts and that just helps them in the game inherently. I think it actually goes against what the people who are pushing that narrative want to quote unquote fight for. You're literally fighting for inequality. You're fighting for people to win purely based off of things that they can't control, which is like the definition of ism or obic. Insert here, whatever. I feel like to me, like that's going against what these people are claiming to fight for, and it's very hypocritical. I also think on top of this that this season has some weak men, and by weak men, I feel like the men would be the type to like be like, oh yeah, like I'm a male fem, like you know what I mean. Like I feel like they would be the type to identify as a male feminist. Like these men seem like they would give up the win to the women just to be to be on the right side of history. Like I feel like that's the vibe that I'm getting from these men. Like Hai Jiang, if that's how you say his name, or I'm trying to think. I mean, other than Mike and Jonathan, the rest of the men on this season just seem kind of weak in their personality and in their convictions. I think someone like Omar would also do that, and I think that the women on this cast are very strong personality women, and I think it's going to lead, unless that all blows up and they get mad at each other, I think it'll lead to a domination by the women in this season overall. That's just my personal opinion, and I think that survivors should try and cast more strong people for both genders, not just for women. Because I feel like again, it kind of goes against what they're claiming to fight for, which is the quote unquote equality of the sexes within the game. And I do think that this was all kind of started by Sarah's comments in Winners at War being kind of taken farther and taken like very, very far to push their agenda and their political agenda that they want to happen. And so, due to that year off and the year and a half and all these social movements, picking up steam, we now have some unfair circumstances for specific groups who are not in these categories of being quote unquote marginalized. And that's it, guys. Those were my 5 bold predictions. Again, join the Discord server, top link in the description. Thank you guys for the continued support. None of this happens without you guys. Without you guys, I'm just a weird guy speaking into a weird microphone. Do you have any video ideas? Let me know in the comments. I'm always out of ideas all of the time. Do you disagree? Do you have any other bold predictions that I didn't mention in this video? Let me know in the comments. And if that's what I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Oh, also, Thursday's video will be on the top 10 genius moves in Survivor history. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a really good one. I think it's my best video that I've done yet. It's honestly super, super fun to watch, super, super fun to edit and make. And I really hope you guys enjoy it when it comes out, probably at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Thursday, I think. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much. See ya.